press go on that little button?
Yeah, it's on. We're on. Hey, everybody, what's up? You just can't see us. Pat, you got to make it so that people can see us.
I might be able to figure it out.
I think you can hear us, but hey,
job,
what's
Pat.
up, everybody? Happy Money Monday. Hey, that's what happens because we swap out. We got to give our team a rotation here.
Too.
We have a different producer every Monday. And today's guest producer is Pat Kimball.
Everybody loves Pat.
Yes, Pat's on the sound effects. He's on the graphics. He's on all the things tonight. He's got the headphones on, doing a tremendous job. Want to welcome everybody in. You know the drill here. Let's make sure that you have subscribed to the feed. Make sure that you've clicked on that bell, that you're getting notifications. That's the only way that you can win yourself some money. Make sure that you hit that share button, put this on your social feeds. Let's get some of your friends in here. We want to make sure that everybody is covered. We talk all things money every single Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe at one point we'll even go to questions. We might roll to questions.
Ooh,
that would be fun. Not tonight.
Would be great. Sometimes we catch some questions in here.
Oh, yeah, sometimes people do. Yeah, if you got questions, put them in there.
I pay attention to the chat. I try to see what you guys are talking about. We try to capture those every once in a while.
Somebody needs their shirt. That's the question.
Yeah, who's that? Go, Pat. Where's my shirt, bro?
Where's their shirt?
Pat's got to figure that out.
Their name is Welcome Back.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Good to have you.
Yes. Hey, so let's make sure you've done your duty here. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you hit notifications. Tonight we're giving away $600 because this is a benevolent community. I got to tell you, this community is so benevolent. The actual raffle is set for $300,
and we got matched.
And then we've gotten matched here. This is amazing. The giving community. Pat, our producer tonight, he threw in $100.
Yeah.
Mel Krug, one of our BDC coaches up in Minnesota, she threw in $100, and I believe that the whole thing started because Jack Borla, the grandfather of chiropractic himself, he threw in
on
$100.
Last Monday in the chat. He said he would throw in $100.
Yeah, I think. We're giving away $600. We're not drawing 6 names. We're drawing 3 names tonight. So 3 names right here in this. What do you call this? Canasta.
No, it's a drum. It's a drum. A canasta.
And the canasta. Yeah. Ask anybody.
I don't know.
It's a canasta.
It's a drum.
In the drum.
In the
money
drum.
We got every name of every single Black Diamond Club member. If you want to be in the drum.
Yes.
Go to www.blackdiamondclub.com. We update it every week live. We update it, not live on the show.
Somebody is getting 6 months of their membership paid for tonight, potentially.
Just by watching a video. Just by watching a video, $600.
About the economy and action items to adapt to.
And Tristan Schaub has thrown in $105 worth of trash bags.
Listen, can we give a little context, though, for this? Because Tristan's boys are selling trash bags for their baseball team, right? Like as a fundraiser.
No, I think it's for the football team.
As a football team, okay.
Yeah. Tristan's one of the
trash
coaches.
Bags. And Tristan bought $105 worth, and he's giving them away to you. I have no idea what they look like.
$105 worth of trash bags.
Invaluable.
I mean, you're going to have trash bags. I mean,
there's a lot you can do with trash bags.
Coach Twisty, courtesy of Coach Twisty. So technically, we're up to $705 that we're giving away today.
Yes.
$600 in cold hard cash. You can use one
of those trash bags to put your hundos in if you win.
And the Balenciaga trash bags, $1,800. That
those
came
are
out.
$1,800.
We're selling $1,800 trash bags. You got to be a baller.
Everybody knows about these trash bags.
Away. Yeah, we're not.
And they say they're great. I don't know.
Well, we're just giving away. We're just giving away $105. So that's like a sliver of a Balenciaga trash bag, not the whole bag. Or it's like a whole lot of regular trash bags.
Like the black, like the heavy duty, like you can put anything in.
Tristan was so into it today. He was telling me like they're the gallons. I don't even know what that means. He's like, these are 18-gallon bags. He was pumped about. I think that's the normal size. I think that's a normal trash bag. I think
I could fit in that bag.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I want to make sure
that
everybody has subscribed, turn on your notifications. 3 names in the drum, 3 names coming out of the drum, $600 in cash. Share this on your social channels. Let's get your friends on. Don't be so stingy. Like, let your friends know what we've got going on here. We're trying to help service providers in the best way that we can, absolutely free, every single Monday, right here on YouTube Live. And then don't forget that our Last 5 Moves Challenge, it starts on August 29th. Enrollment closes on August 22nd. So you don't have that many days left. We just opened this past weekend our very first of 7 Ever Bowl franchises in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And when this happens, I get tons of texts, I get tons of messages. People always ask, like, how are you guys doing all of this?
Yes.
How are you guys, doing these live videos? And at the same time, you guys have a chiropractic franchise. At the same time, 680 members in Black Diamond Club. At the same time, we've got 30 people in Quest 7. We have over 150 people that we have on our VIP list that we mentor and coach. We do workshops. We do collaborations with great people like David Meltzer. We do TV appearances, podcasts. We put out a podcast every week called None of Your Business. Plus, we do a podcast every Monday for the Black Diamond Club. And people always ask, and there's probably a couple more things that we do in there. We consult for robotics companies. We invest in real estate. We do a lot of stuff.
We've already flown like
Already over 150,000
domestic
miles.
miles this year. I mean, that's a lot of time that it takes. And we try to eat at home. That takes a lot of time. We try. I try to cook.
So everybody asks, how do you do it? Well, we've decided to just pull the curtain back and show you exactly how we do it. We're going to be breaking down our last 5 moves, the last 5 moves that Lacey and I have made that we attribute our success to. So there's a very a best-selling book called Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. And so while you're contemplating your next 5 moves, maybe for some of you, your next 5 moves might be our last 5 moves. And
right.
if that's the case, let us break down what we have done step by step over 5 consecutive days. We're going to spend an hour breaking down what we did, how we did it, and how you can apply this in your world. All you've got to do is go to www.ourlast5moves.com. It's up there on the screen, and get registered. And if you opt for the VIP option, we're going to spend an extra hour every day with you breaking down any questions.
AMA. You can ask us anything.
You can ask us anything. AUA. AUA, not AUM. AUA. We're going to sit down and answer any questions you have. We're going to help you to implement. So go to www.ourlast5moves.com. Select that VIP option. It's going to be tremendous. And we are literally going to help you to get caught up. We can help you get caught up to us. We don't want anybody to be behind us. We pay a lot of money to our mentors who are ahead of us, and they graciously help us to get caught up to them. And if any of you are like, hey, I want to get caught up to you, I'm not saying that we help everybody, and I'm definitely not saying that we're ahead of anybody, but I'm saying that if you feel like, hey, I wish I could learn what it is that you're doing and how you're doing it, well, then get registered, www.ourlast5moves.com. It's going to be absolutely tremendous. Enrollment closes, hard close, August 22nd. Don't clown around. Why wait until the last minute? What if VIP
squeak
fills
your
up?
way in afterwards.
Yeah, you
It's
got to
not
get
gonna
on
happen
this.
like that.
Everybody's going to want to get on this. All right, here's what we're following. We use this image of this tug of war because I'm not sure, if we're looking at all of the data that we crunch every single week, I'm not sure, based off of the data, I have my opinion, but I'm not sure if people think we're in a recession or if we're in a recovery. It was a very interesting time. Now, first of all, I want everybody to know, because we've got a lot of naysayers. We got our share of naysayers. I mean, and if you're going to do well in the world, you're going to have your share of naysayers. It comes with the territory. We do not, we embrace it. We don't resist it. We understand it. It just comes with the territory. A lot of our naysayers say that we are just doom and gloom. And I don't understand doom and gloom. We're trying to protect and promote you.
Facts.
And yes, we're delivering facts, but we're not saying, at no
that are
time have we
happening in
ever
the
said
world.
we're screwed.
Yeah.
At no time have we ever said you're screwed. At no time have we said like, oh my gosh, it's time to pack it in. At no time have we said nobody's going to make it. It's not doom and gloom. It's let's look at what is happening. And then let's talk about what we need to be doing in order to protect and promote ourselves and our business. It is one thing to understand on a high plane, high level, spiritually, that we are all being protected and promoted by a power greater than we can comprehend, a power that loves us more than we love our children, more than our parents love ourselves, and we can just chalk it up to that. But I got to tell you, I mean, it's like the guy that's like, I really hope I get a job. I've been praying and praying that I get a job. And then you ask him, well, where have you submitted applications? And the person's like, nowhere. But I've been holding a constant prayer vigil
Right.
that I get a job. Like,
Job will fall in my lap.
that's not how this works. So
Right.
yes, I understand that you believe that you're being protected and promoted, but still, we still need to be conscious of what's happening, and we need to
Take appropriate action.
adapt. Yeah, we need to do things. If you want a job, you got to apply
Right.
and pray. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to apply. And so same thing here. We're not preaching doom and gloom. In fact, we hope that we're not in a recession.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
We don't want a
We
recession.
don't want a
That's
recession.
not good for any of us.
Well, it's better
including
for us. We're doing great.
Well,
like
but
we've
it's
said,
not
we're
good
doing
for
great.
anybody that we love and take care of.
But
and serve.
it is extremely erroneous to say Shawn and Lacey preach doom and gloom because
Right.
they want us to be in a recession. No.
Yeah.
We don't want to be in a recession for ourselves, first and foremost, like for our own safety, for our own well-being. And then, of course, for yours, we don't want there to be a recession. We don't want for anybody to struggle. We wish that we'll just continue everything just going amazing and all of us just having more money than we know what to do with. That's the goal here. So the Senate this week, Sunday, it's interesting to do it on a Sunday, they passed the so-called Inflation Reduction Act. Now, very important. This has still yet to pass the House, still has yet to be signed by the president. However, that's a given. But time-wise, it's not a done deal yet. It's a done deal, but it's not been done.
Right.
Now, a lot of discussion happening on how much of a reduction in inflation are we going to get with this? And in fact, listen, a lot of analysis that it
Says that will actually.
it'll be worse.
It's going to get worse. It's going to increase.
A lot of analysis says
yeah.
this is the anti-inflation or the Inflation Increasing Act.
Yeah.
Again, this is all just going to depend on your analysis, who you're going to believe, what news channel you listen to, et cetera. And
We're looking at it all, though, for you.
And given that it's not passed yet, we're not going to talk about it this week, right? We got to see. We got to get it still through the House. I don't anticipate
Then once
any
it
changes.
gets through, too, we'll have a little bit more insight on everything that's in it.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
we have everything that's in it now, but we have to understand then what the impact is going to be. And then that's why all of this confusion. There are some things that we know. Lots more IRS agents out there.
Lots more. Yeah.
Listen, I got to tell you something. One of the statistics that I had heard many years ago, actually, and so I think this increases, is that for every single one of you, statistically, all of our small business friends, that you statistically at some point during your business career should anticipate being audited.
Right. Especially with all the increase in.
Well, now we're
IRS
just
agents.
sending all of these more IRS
Fast
agents.
tracking that. Yeah.
I don't know if I can complain about that. I mean, the government wants its money.
Yeah.
I mean, you want your money. So people that owe you money, right? Somebody owes you money. You don't feel good about that.
No.
So if there are people that owe money, the government's trying to collect on it. That just makes sense. Like
Right.
we want to get our money. That doesn't mean we could dedicate some time, maybe even bring on some experts about tax strategies. Everybody wants to pay as little as possible, but some people are just not paying. As an aside, I don't understand this. This is why I've never understood. Maybe somebody can help me out in the comments here. I'd love to get some insights on this because somehow we can track every single person in the United States and how much they owe based off how much they made. In fact, you and I have had experiences, learning experiences, where we've learned that there are many people that are actually illegal aliens that pay tax.
Yes.
Which is admirable.
Yes.
Like they're illegal aliens and they pay tax.
They work and they pay their taxes. Yeah.
I mean, high five to them. Not saying that I'm not saying one thing one way or the other, but I'm saying if you're here illegally and you're paying tax, that's pretty admirable. Yeah. Why can't we figure this out? Why can't we tie voting to your taxes?
Right.
Like you become 18.
We've talked about this
somehow
before.
We know that you exist, and we know if you make a penny. Well, I mean, even if you don't make a penny, they still know you exist.
Right.
And why can't they just tie whatever system they're using to track all these people? Why don't we just use that for voting?
Right.
Like how confusing. Try and don't pay tax. Watch how quickly they figure out that you didn't pay tax.
And know it's you and know where to find you and can verify it's you.
So why can't they just know if it's you who voted?
Right.
Or if you voted, right? Maybe they could just put in what I've always said is when you pay your taxes, we should put the voting thing inside of that.
Right.
So you send in, you file, and at the same time you vote.
Yep.
I mean, and then some people would be like, yeah, but all these illegal aliens potentially are voting. But they're paying.
They are paying their taxes.
I mean, I don't know. That's just my take on that. So we have this Inflation Reduction Act coming down the pipe. We're going to talk about it next week. But here's what we can definitely say. If you're looking at the discussion, many people think that the impact that this is going to have on the economy is going to be anything but a reduction in inflation. And that's sad too, as a commentary on our government and the way, just not the ruling party, but just in general, they pack in all this like random stuff that gets in these things.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, we don't know every single thing that's in it, because there's a lot of things that they just, like you said, pack in there that all of a sudden you hear later, a month later, oh my gosh, this was passed in that bill as well, or that act as well. It's crazy.
Yeah. So also, maybe we don't need a reduction in inflation, right? So a lot of indications are that maybe we're starting to swing back.
Yeah.
Inflation is getting a little bit of a pushback. Gas and oil are way down. So oil and gas way down. So part of this supply and demand, part of this consumer sentiment. I mean, clearly, it got to a point where in the United States, consumers just simply weren't going to pay that much. When we talked about that here.
Consuming, and then all of a sudden the
so
prices
then we have
had to
more.
decrease.
So we have more. We have a surplus.
Right.
And then,
Less
and a lot of
demand.
people were saying that it was the gas stations that were doing this. It was the oil companies that were doing this. Well, maybe it was. But at the same time, listen, we're seeing that this is coupled with, very important, this is coupled with a decrease in gasoline consumption. So again, surplus. We're seeing people say, look, gas is too expensive, so I'm not going to consume. I'm not driving as much. I'm being more conscious, using public transportation, doing whatever I have to do. Consumption goes down. Prices are coming down. So this is an indication, though, this is great, that, inflation may be weaning. Other commodity prices are reflecting expectations that the economy is slowing down. The supply is modestly up while demand is massively down. And the same thing is happening with groceries. Home prices are down. So it seems like we might have hit that peak.
The ceiling. We hit the ceiling.
And now we're starting to bring it back down. A lot of people said this was going to be very temporary. And maybe we are definitely seeing real objective evidence that this may be the case. And so not all doom and gloom. Call your friends. They're not just preaching doom and gloom. We are seeing signs that maybe a recovery is happening.
Keep an eye on it for you, too. And this is what we're hoping for. And if that's the case, they really didn't need to pass that act, right?
Well, I mean, they needed to pass it, but maybe it's not really an Inflation Reduction Act.
Well, I'm saying they didn't need to pass it as a
July saw 528,000 new U.S. jobs. So this is awesome. We have to love this. Unemployment fell to 3.5.
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's great. Here's the problem.
This is interesting.
In order to combat inflation, we need to see more unemployment. Right. So we still have, everybody's employed, everyone's making money, but this is a good sign for those of you that are like, hey, all doom and gloom. No. That means that there's more people making more money, right? And so this is all super good. Only 3.5% of people are unemployed. I always say this too. It's very interesting because when we look at 3.5%, it depends on how we calculate that statistic. Norway has an incredibly low unemployment rate, but Norway does it slightly different, where they talk about of employable people.
Right.
Listen, some people are not employable, right? They're on disability, or they have disabilities, or whatever. There's reasons why. And so a 3.5% unemployment rate, that's really remarkable. And this is a sign of a strong economy.
Well, it's really interesting, and I know you're going to talk about this in a hot second, though, but we're also seeing a lot of layoffs happening, too, at the same time that we're seeing unemployment decrease. So it's really interesting what's happening currently right now, simultaneously to more people getting jobs.
That's why it's a tug of war.
It is a tug of war.
On one side, you can definitely make an argument. Look, unemployment is so low. And listen, that's one of the things, right? Unemployment high, that's part of the definition of a recession. So you can argue, like, look, unemployment is so low. We're not in a recession. We're in recovery. Everybody's got a job. Everybody's back to work. More money to spend. It's just a matter of time. Prices are coming down. This all looks good. At the very same time, many are saying that the writing is already on the wall, that we are already headed for a recession, if not already in one. The Fed's the Fed rate hikes are expected to become more aggressive after a strong jobs report. Now, this is very interesting.
Well, they're already aggressive.
Well, they were thinking that, all right, after the 0.75 uptick, that we were going to, maybe we would bump it down. We already knew we were going to get rate hikes. They already announced that, but they're like, maybe we won't be so aggressive here with the 0.75s, or, we can maybe we could just ease it up.
A little bit.
0.25 would be more palatable. Well, with this strong jobs report, this is very interesting. They're raising rates. Now, if you really understand how this works, they're shrinking up the money supply in an effort to cause more joblessness. Super important, because that's how you recover from a recession. So, man, and everybody thinks like, oh, the government's so nice, and whatever your politics are. But this is a very interesting thing, because we can't leave well enough alone, right? 3.5%, but prices running up on us is an admission, right? We're having runaway inflation and an admission that we're headed towards recession. Therefore, we're going to continue to be aggressive with our rate hikes. And so this is a very interesting thing. Very likely the next rate hike they're saying is going to be 0.75%. And they're saying that we're going to need to see some radical improvement in our CPI, Consumer Price Index, in order to fight that off.
Right.
Again, here's the concept. We're going to keep raising the rates. We're trying to dry up the money that's in, the supply of money that's in our country. And the reason why the supply of money is so high is because we printed so much of it.
Right.
One of the ways to get it back, by the way, would be to raise taxes.
Yes.
Right. So we could just raise your taxes.
And we're also going to employ more IRS agents and raise your taxes.
And that's a way to get some of that money off the table and get it back out of circulation. So that will then begin to temper the wild cash spending that's out there in the world. But I don't know how wild the cash spending is. I'm going to talk about that in a second as well. We also saw that Walmart, who's already been giving us plenty of economic signals that they feel like we are in a recession, has announced that they're going to cut 200 corporate jobs as costs and inventory sap profits. Profits down. This is one of the things, too, for our listeners and viewers. So in pricing. And we shared some other information today. We've been talking about raise your prices. Ferrari profits off the chains, super high. The ultra high net worth individuals are doing very well. And so when we talk pricing, you basically have two options. You're either in the high or the low. The reason why we discourage our viewers, listeners, et cetera, in going into the low is because you operate at extremely razor thin margins.
And that's what I was going to say, is that Walmart's margins are so thin that if they're impacted in any way at all, even in the slightest, they have to do things like this by making cuts, right?
Well, who gets impacted first?
Yeah, and that's who gets impacted first. And so they're a very early indication of what's happening because their margins are so thin. Other big corporations, other large businesses may not have to make these same decisions as soon as Walmart does.
Yeah, so they began to signal to us that because gas prices were so high, because grocery prices were so high, their ideal demographic was making cuts, and so they weren't able to spend. They didn't have as much discretionary income. This was affecting their top line.
They don't have a lot of breathing room.
Generally, Walmart runs, I think, at about a 3% profit margin, and that's fine if you're doing billions and billions of dollars, but it's a razor-thin margin, which that means that as soon as that top line starts drying up, we have to start making cuts. So this is a pretty early indication that Walmart is viewing this as that we're in a recession. That Walmart is not viewing this that we're on an upswing, because, they could weather a month or two if they're like, this is going to be fine in 2 months.
But their projections, what they're looking at happening in the economy, they're saying,
so they're making
make
cuts.
some moves.
People are saying that the great layoff might be upon us. I know you're going to talk about this in a little bit, but people are seeing an uptick in layoffs due to increasing economic pressure on companies. Because companies, while there's a lot of money out there, a lot of companies are beginning to see, and we had talked about, as you look at the earnings reports coming in, that they are reporting below expected earnings, and in some cases, losses. This is coming out of a time, the heyday, when everybody was winning, everybody had big gains. And so what do you do when your earnings are down? Well, you make cutbacks, and this is something that a lot of people are worried about. If we do get massive cutbacks, well, that is another indication that we're headed towards a recession. Again, that's an if. That's an if.
Dr.
Walmart
Paula
did
is
it.
saying Rivian in her area just laid off 800 employees. I mean, so it's starting to happen in your own communities, which we're going to talk about, because we have always said no matter if we're going into a recession or we're coming out of it, the reality of it is if there's a lot of jobs in your community making cuts, that's an opportunity but you're affected, but it's also an opportunity for you to get talent.
There's opportunity everywhere, always. That's the other important thing.
Yep.
That's always an important thing. Let me get through these last two, and we'll do one name. Robinhood cutting 23% of their jobs. Robinhood, the everybody knows Robinhood. We get from the GameStop, the whole dilemma there. They're cutting 23% of their jobs. You would think like this online app that had captivated and got all these young generation on there playing GameStop and playing around with those with the shorts and everything. Well, they are announcing 23%. 23%, so over almost a quarter of their workers. So if there's 4 of us that eat lunch together every day, one of us statistically is gone. That's pretty scary. And also very important. Go ahead. Do you have something on Robinhood?
No, I was gonna say just super random that I saw on the news the other day, and I was reading an article on it. Is that one of the businesses that's doing really, really, really well right now is pawn shops.
Oh yeah,
pawn shops are making. I guess they're making money hand over fist because people are struggling so much with what's going on in the economy that they're having to pawn all of their jewelry, their items of value. And so especially when you're starting to see people get cut from their jobs, you're going to see people going into the pawn shop. So it was an interesting indicator that you wouldn't think about looking at, but people are beginning to talk about that. I was just thinking about that when you said Robinhood's making
Lastly,
cuts.
before we're drawing 3 names tonight. We got $600 cash and $105 in trash bags. I mean, this is amazing. I don't know what other live show on YouTube
gives away
$105 worth of trash bags.
Special trash bags.
I think about I don't even know
Special
how many
trash
bags is that. I wish I knew. Like that's a lot of trash bags.
Yeah.
Right here on Money
18
Mondays.
gallons.
Here's the next thing. We might be concerned that we are going into a recession, knowing that household debt has now topped $16 trillion for the very first time.
Wow.
This is interesting to me because there's so much money out there. Now, I saw this happen when we issued the stimulus. I was very interested in this because we put all of the stimulus money out, and there's a couple clips of me where I did a presentation specifically on this. One of the very interesting things that happened with the stimulus is we put the stimulus out there to stimulate the economy, but a lot of that money didn't get spent. A lot of people saved it, which is admirable, but that wasn't what the intent was, but because they were scared. And that's also what produces this effect, because a lot of money, people are like, we haven't gotten a stimulus in forever, right? But that money is still out there. They haven't spent it. But at the same time, a lot of people did spend it. And we talk about that. They spent it on Xboxes. I love, the commentary. This is a longer broadcast, so, the trolls won't watch this long to troll me, but they spent it on things like Xboxes and PlayStations and J's and things like that. I mean, Jordans, not the weed, but they just spent the money, and people get all on my case about it because when they spent the money, it went to Sony and it went to Microsoft and it went to Amazon and it went to Nike. And so it trickled up, right? Was very interesting. $16 trillion in debt. This they're saying this rise in debt is fueled by higher inflation and interest rates that have pushed up housing and auto balances. And very important, mortgage balances rose 1.9% for the quarter. We're seeing increased interest rates. We're beginning to see people's inability to pay off their debt.
Yep.
They're beginning to go into debt, more and more debt, not just on credit cards, now also in the housing market. This is a bad news. This is like we're starting to squeeze those people who rely on debt in order to survive. And they're getting, there comes a point when you can no longer borrow.
Yeah, you can no longer
the
rely
interest
on
rates get high. Right. You can no longer do this.
You can't pay it off fast enough to catch up to what you've borrowed either.
And I would just wonder how many of you watching us now rely on that. A lot of you work in the credit card space, meaning that people buy your stuff with credit cards. Right. You've got, big upfront payments or monthly payments. Well, if you are seeing signs that your demographic is unable to make their own minimum monthly payment on their credit card, well, what does that say to you when you're selling MRR, right? And so very important. So I mean, I don't know. I'm going to leave it up to the viewers today of do they think that we are in a recession? In fact, if you're on with us live,
let us know what you think. Give us a little.
Put a comment in recession
in the chat. Yep.
or recovery. Let us know. Are we in recession?
What side of the tug of war
are we
you on?
in recovery? Yes. Now, we have a couple action items that Lacey's going to break down for you.
I am, but I want to draw a name first.
All right, let's get it popping. I think we should draw a name.
So we're going to have Pat come over here. He's going to spin, draw 3 names so he doesn't have to keep
There's so many names in here, Pat, that you got to dig deep.
She was asking if she could win twice.
Yeah,
you can.
You're back in there.
Yeah, you're back in there.
Navpreet's back in there.
Every week you go back in.
Dig like deep in the middle because those are the ones that
This has to take Pat back. This is what we used to do at Bridgewater Country Club. Don't let him see. Don't let him see.
Okay, we got this one.
Down. That's name number 1. Name number 1.
This will be name number 2. That way Pat doesn't have to get up again.
Yep.
Number 2.
Mm-hmm. Nobody can see. So at Bridgewater Country Club,
here we go.
Pat used to do the drawing for their giveaway.
I got three names. 3 names drawn here. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be really interesting.
It's going to be real interesting.
All right, so Pat's getting ready to put the timer get that clock rolling. Receding hairlines. Oh, everybody's saying recession so far. All right, name number 1. Dennis Chang.
Dennis Chang. Let's go, baby. Dennis Chang, you have won temporarily.
There's a play button.
You have won for 30 seconds.
You even had a couple
You
other
are for
seconds,
30 seconds.
Dennis
The
Chang.
next 30 seconds, Dennis, you are $600 cash richer. Here's what you got to do, Dennis.
And $105.
And you have $105 worth of trash bags coming. Come on. Here's what you got to do, Dennis. You got to say, I'm here in the comments, or it will just slip right between your fingers.
Man.
Oh, no. Just like the FBI rolling up to Donald Trump's house.
Oh, no.
Poof.
Gone.
Kicked the door down, and Dennis Chang, he got FBI. Please don't do that again.
Sorry,
you did that
Dennis.
last time. You're not doing that. Okay.
Where'd you go, Dennis?
You origamied my paper last time. We had to fix that.
Yeah, we had to fix it. It's fine. It's one of
Okay.
those things I do.
Well, Dennis, man, what a bummer.
Womp womp.
$600 comes and goes. Easy come, easy go, I guess, for Dennis.
All right. So let's get into the action items. So we had said that if a lot of people are getting laid off in your area, it impacts you in multiple ways. I mean, it definitely impacts you if those are the people that you're serving, but it also allows you to take advantage of opportunity of talent being out in the marketplace. And so I think that that's really important for you guys to be ready if layoffs are occurring. And obviously, one other thing I'd actually have to say is the fact that how many more jobs did we say? 528,000 new jobs in July. That means that people are actually looking for work again, because for a long time, it was really difficult to hire and we weren't seeing a lot of change in the job market. Many of you have gotten on phone calls with us, on coaching calls, just messages, emails, and said, I'm just struggling hiring people. It feels like nobody wants to work. Well, all indications are showing us that people do want to work. And at the same time, people are starting to get laid off. So there's opportunity for you here, but only if you are ready. You have to be ready. So you have to be ready to hire. So here is my 5 things that you need to do in order to be ready to hire.
5 things.
5 things.
Let's
Number
go.
1. I think that the first thing that you need to do is look at your goals. We talk to you guys all the time about making and curating goals for your business. And around those goals, you shouldn't just have like collections goals and money goals, but you should also have people goals in there. If you're trying to reach $500,000 in your business, $1 million in your business, $250,000 in your business, right now, if you're not there, it's because there's something that could be potentially stopping you. And most times we have seen that it's your team, that it's the actual people that's necessary to get you to that next level. So look at your goals, audit your goals, and ask yourself, who do I need to bring on my team in order to reach that goal? You need to ask yourself what kind of role actually needs to be filled. So like, what's the big gap that I need to fill in order to get there? And then what type of personality is necessary to fill that role? We always say hire people, not roles, but you still need to understand the role to understand the person that would fit in that.
Right. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. What that means is you don't create the role.
Yeah.
and then just go and try and plug someone in. I'm looking for someone that can. No, I'm looking for a person.
I'm looking for a person.
And so I've identified the personality traits, the culture, right, of my business. And I do know the role that I'm trying to fill. But here's what I always say is most skills are teachable. Now, if you need a license, like if you need a physical therapist, well, you can't just hire a person and be a physical therapist. You need, if I'm hiring a dentist, obviously you have to have a license.
Or dental assistant. Like they have to have
some
skills.
Yeah, some things you need that, you use certain skills. But most skills can be taught. Most skills can be taught. Landing pages, emails, all SEO, all of these things.
Customer service, experience, those things can be taught, especially to the right person.
Answering phones, all of that can be taught.
So who do you need? Who do you need? You guys need to think about this. Who do you need on your team in order to get you to the next goal? Second, create a creative job posting to attract them.
Okay.
This is one of the things that we see people struggle with all the time. And there was a time during the pandemic where, look, Indeed ads, they weren't working. Ads on LinkedIn, they were going nowhere. Facebook posts were getting no play. But because people are ready to work again, we're starting to see that stuff start to generate actual legitimate interest. For a long time, I was like, don't waste your money, don't do it. But people are getting excited again. But here's the deal. They don't want to just be an office manager. They don't want to just be an assistant, right? If you're looking to hire a person, you've got to create like a great ad that's really attractive to that individual. You got to know your ideal client. That means you also got to know your ideal employee that you're trying to hire, and then have an ad that speaks to them. We talk about this all the time. When we hired Luke, we were like, we don't want to put personal assistant, executive assistant. We need somebody that has these specific personality traits. And then Tristan came up with a captain of multitasking, right? Perfect. Go ahead. You're going to say something.
No, I just think that
perfect way to attract somebody like that in.
Well, I think the way that you don't do it is office manager, like you were saying. In the job title, I would say master of Zen.
Right.
Or like whatever it is, I would think about the personality traits, and then I would come up with whatever the thing is, and I would make it intentionally vague, right? Because I'm looking for me. Now, if I wanted somebody that was super analytical, I'd say hiring bookkeeper, right? But outside of that, master numbers cruncher,
right?
Like people will be like, wonder what that is.
Master of client experience, yeah. Like controller of client happiness, whatever it is that you want, right? Something creative. I think it's super important. Megan is on here. I'm sure we know somebody that does copywriting. She could probably come up with some pretty killer ads to get the right person in.
Megan Banker does copy for us. Just look her up. She's right here.
She's right here. She's on the chat.
If you need copy, you need it. You need Megan.
All right. Point number 3 is be patient. I think that one of the things that is the most important is you don't hire after the need is there. You have to hire before that, because what happens is you guys finally realize, oh my gosh, I have this big hole in marketing and I can't reach 250,000 because I can't be consistent in putting social media posts out. I can't be consistent in writing email campaigns and talking to my list. I'm not marketing. I'm not selling. I need somebody to help me. But you've been needing somebody for the last 3 months and your business is being impacted for it. So if you know what you need in order to get to the goal, you don't quite need them yet, it's time to put out an ad, because then you can be patient. You can take your time, and then you can actually hire the right person instead of hiring somebody out of necessity. And I think that's super vital in this.
When you make mistakes because you get rushed.
You get really rushed.
Don't hire out of necessity. Here's the thing. You should always, and this is another very important thing. Nobody does this. I know you don't. Only like the big ballers do this. You should hire every 6 months at least, I think. Every 6 months.
We talk about this all the time.
Even if you don't have anybody, if you don't have any roles that you're trying to fill, you should go through a hiring process. You should run ads. You should then go through interviews. And then you should select, like, man, I wish I had spots for these, 2 or 3 people at the end. But then you just file those away. And then maybe something happens. Somebody, their spouse gets a transfer to Boise, Idaho. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to leave.
And now you're
the first people that I would call are these people that I didn't hire. And I would just say, hey, listen, Jack, last time you were here, you were interviewing for a job. You were amazing. Unfortunately, the position that I think you'd be amazing for, that wasn't really what I had in mind, what I was trying to fill. Now that position is open. I know that you must have moved on and found another job, but what would it look like for me to be able to pull you over and have you work for me. So many people
It's
have
a way
said
more
too.
strategic way to poach.
Well,
It's
so
like
many
so
people too have
strategic,
said,
yeah.
well, and you already know, so many of you listening here, you've had employees poached because
Yeah.
they've come to you and said somebody offered me more money or whatever, and they left for a better opportunity in their eyes. Probably maybe it wasn't better.
It happens all the time.
But yes, you should constantly have a backup. The fact that
Now
you're
you
like,
have a
oh my God, what do I
have a
do is
poaching
bad.
pool. I love
Yeah.
this. Like a pool to pull people from. Say that 5 times fast.
A pool to pull people from.
A pool to pull people from. But that's one of the things. People are like, well, I want to poach, but I haven't found the right person. Well, what if you were being strategic and putting out ads every 6 months? You would have a stack of resumes to be able to do that from. I love that. That's great. Number 4, be willing to bonus like crazy. We talk about this concept all the time. If you're going to poach somebody, you also need to give them a very attractive offer. That means that maybe you can't pay them their base salary, what they're getting paid at their current position, but they could out-earn what they're currently earning if you bonus them like crazy and you allow them to see that trajectory. I think that that's the most important key, is that most people, they're like, we pay this for salary, we pay lower, and we bonus like crazy. But the person on the other end, they don't know what that means. They don't understand the road and the trajectory to get there. They don't understand what that actually could put in their pocket and make for them. You have to be able to articulate that in the right way.
Well, superstars do understand the concept of bonusing. I'll tell you scenarios that we've been in. We, in one of our businesses, we needed somebody at a leadership level, and they were negotiating hard for an increase in their base salary. In exchange, they were willing to forego bonuses. Other people that are below them, that work for them, got less pay, in fact, paid hourly,
and got
bonuses to the point where those people made more than the leader because we love to bonus like crazy.
Yes.
Here's how I think that you should figure this out. You should say, first of all, you should figure out when you hire somebody, and then you kind of bring them on, and we've worked with them, and we define what their role is. Mm-hmm. This is secondary. I don't define the role, then hire them. I bring them on, and then I'm going to define their role. I should say, look, for what you are doing for me, I value that at X dollars a month, whatever that is, whether it's hourly, X dollars an hour, or X dollars a month. Now that's the base. So in order to earn X, you have to do this. Oftentimes people call those KPIs, right? These are the things that you do to get the money that you are contracted to get. However, in my opinion, if you do over what's stipulated here, you should actually expect to be paid more. Mm-hmm. You should be like, hey, and if, as a result of my overworking, the company does well, I should have an even higher expectation. Now, look, our employees are on this live. So it's not like making this up. So many people teach one thing and do another. Our employees are on this live. They're watching this live with us. Pat's sitting here, but I can see them. They're on here. This is what we do. We have modest base, and we bonus big time bonuses when they do more than what we expected them to do, and or when the company does really well. Of course, we want to share in that with the people who played a part. And listen, here's the thing. With everybody who played a part, sometimes you're like, well, Lacey did it. Yeah, but Lacey couldn't have done her job
without the other
people didn't do their job.
Supporting me to be able to do that. And I think that that's the most important. We thoroughly recognize that our business wouldn't be able to do what it does without a super solid team, right?
One thing I just want to put out there too, I know because this is alive and it's going to go right through people's minds. I get it. Slip through your hands like it did to old Dennis Chang. One of the most important statistics that we like to watch here that nobody ever talks about is revenue per employee. Mm-hmm. It blows people's minds to know that we have, I think, 6.
Including our CPA. He was like, holy cow.
But 6 employees.
Yeah.
6. All of these businesses, we have 6 core employees here. Now, I guess if we wanted to count, in the Everbowl Stoles, there's people there. We don't directly relate to them. 6 core employees running all of this. The revenue per employee on our side is astronomical. Some of you need to understand that is an indication to you. So some of you are like, yeah, me too. Well, then you need to hire, right? Yeah. If you're running sky high revenue per employee, first of all, props because you're running that. Second of all, what are you talking about? You're not hiring people. You have revenue to hire.
Yeah.
Start hiring.
Start hiring. Well, so this brings to my last point. When you are ready to hire, this is point number 5. This is my pro tip, right? When you are ready to hire, if you are still struggling to find the right person and you've put out ads and you've been patient and now you're like, man, it's go time. I need somebody to fill this spot. I love the concept of giving a finder's fee to people that I collaborate or in my network.
Love it.
And I think that that's a killer way. You can literally just give somebody $500. Tell all the business owners that you work with, that are in your network, that are close to you, that understand your business. Let me tell you who I'm looking for. And if you find me somebody and I ultimately end up hiring them, I'm going to bonus you $500 to do it. I can't tell you how many.
I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah,
I'm going to start charging a finder's fee.
You charge a finder's fee?
Yeah.
But I can't tell you how many of my clients have found perfect fits for their business by just extending out an additional bonus for people to go and be the headhunters on their behalf.
I can't tell you how many times I travel to a different city and find employees for our clients. Same clients, I'm not calling anybody out, but and not saying that they said this, but same clients who think that there's no one to hire. Last 2 times I've been to Chattanooga, Tennessee, I have found people that I've said this person would be perfect. In fact,
perfect for you.
In fact, in the first time that person didn't get hired. I hope the second time they do get hired. But I will tell you, in the first time I pointed out somebody, I was like, hey, this is perfect. Because here's the thing too, when we talk about poaching, so network knowing people, you want highly trained people. So I'm out and I find people that are in hotels because they're highly trained. Like they didn't get some like Bojangle training. Like they were taught how to do whatever it is that they got to do. So they were taught well. I was at a restaurant, Stir, Chattanooga.
Yeah.
Had dinner there. My
Nice
last visit. Well, lo and behold, like I was super impressed with this restaurant because I was like, these people that work here, they're highly trained. Well, lo and behold, 2 of our Everbowl employees are former Stir employees.
Yep.
Says
something about how they train people.
About how they train people.
Yeah.
So I mean, so if the general manager of Stir was in your network and you were like, hey, like if I'll give you a finder's fee, they might even say like, we don't have room for this young lady. You could take her.
Yeah.
Or I think Lacey was thinking about moving on and was looking more for an office job than the late hours that you'd find in a restaurant. So many ways. So I love that idea. And if anybody if you want me to find you an employee, I'll come out. I'm going to charge more than $500.
This works. We have put this into action. In fact, I had a call with the McCarleys. They're on here today, and they have a great story about their next hire. They found her. She was a server in a restaurant, and they just said, "Hey, Brian said to her, you don't look like you love it here. You don't fit here. You know, is this where you want to be?" And she kind of said no. And he said, "I would love to hire you at some point." Came to the office and said, you know, when you're ready, let's do this. And she sent a handwritten note to them. And they said they knew at that moment that she sent that note, like she was going to be a perfect fit. And that was just poaching. That's just opening your mouth and saying something to somebody.
Everybody from Chattanooga is saying that Stir is the bomb.
Okay.
You all got to get over there and start.
You
got to start pulling. Yeah, start poaching from Stir. They're not watching.
Right. First off, a shout out to Dr. Jen. She's got great notes on there. So thank you, Jen, for putting the notes. We appreciate that. All right. Next name. Give me the clock.
Let's get the clock going.
Get the clock rolling.
We're giving away $600 plus $105 in trash bags right here on Money Mondays. Next name
number
up.
2. Is it Damien Cotta?
Ooh, that money's going to come in handy for old Damien. Because Damien just relocated. Wait, no, he didn't lose yet. No.
Pat is manifesting that this person is not on. Damien, are you going to prove Pat wrong? Are you going to show him that you're
10
on?
10 seconds, Damien.
Yeah, you got
$600. $600.
You know, Josh Matthews has said that he wants the trash bags so many times on this. If somebody wins, maybe you might be willing to donate the trash bags to Josh Matthews because he doesn't get to have a name in here. And Damien, I'm so sorry. Damien, you're not here.
Man, you're like, Pat's like way off. It says double zeros.
It's like been zeros for a long time. Come on, Pat, give us a.
Really?
That sound? That was for Pat.
That was for Pat.
Sure.
Oh man.
Josh ran out of trash bags today, so whoever wins.
All right, so here's what we're doing.
Okay.
$600.
We got the last
We're drawing
name.
3 names. This is the very last name.
The very last name.
If we don't get a winner, it becomes $700 and 4 names next week.
And $105 still.
It will still give out $105.
The trash bags will still be there.
We'll roll the trash bags. It'll be $700 cash, $105 in trash bags,
Yep.
and 4 names. But
Yep.
before we do that, we might have a winner.
I think we might have a winner
for this week. Pat, are you sure you're ready? The clock, the music, the whole thing.
I know.
We ready to go?
Hit play.
All right.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Rebecca Dennison.
Rebecca, all you got to do is say, I'm here.
I saw you on here
all you got to do. I hope you didn't turn this off.
Do not. I hope you did not
Oh my
leave.
gosh. Here we go.
I hope you are
Pat
here.
is so sleepy.
I hope you saw this. Pat Sleepy. Sleepy Pat. Sleepy
Rebecca
Pat.
Dennison.
Literally, Rebecca.
Rebecca Dennison.
We just saw you.
Rebecca
We just
Dennison.
saw
There
you.
she is.
Rebecca!
Boom.
You
Winner.
won. Chicken
Rebecca, the
dinner.
coolest part is you get $105 worth of trash bags coming your way, along with a measly $600 in cash.
But really, the trash bags.
But really, the
are
trash
the
bags.
winner. So
We're gonna have to figure that out. Every week, I
Hey,
want
Rebecca-
some cool thing to give away
And
too.
Rebecca showed up twice this week.
She did.
She did.
Thank you. This is what happens.
Right.
For everybody, pay attention. Don't jump off here just quite yet. Rebecca showed up in person at the Everbowl grand opening, and we weren't even there to see her. Were
She
you
didn't
there?
get to come in. Remember, because there was like
Oh, it was too
400
many
people in line.
Too
and
many
she was
people
just,
in
like,
line.
peeked in.
Yeah, so she showed up there, and then we held a BDC social, and she showed up again, and then again she showed up tonight. I think
Yep.
there's a lot to be said about showing
Showing
up. For
up.
anybody who's like, hey man, you guys rigged that because she showed up. No, that's the way the universe works. There's 3 names. There's 3 papers on here. That's it. See, 3 names. Pat drew 3 names only.
Yep.
They're right
And
here.
he didn't
Here's the
look-
3 names. And this was the order that they came out. Dennis Chang, then Damian Kata, and then Rebecca Dennison. That's it. That's all we got. Not rigged. And Rebecca, the universe paid off because she showed up and kept showing up. So here's the thing.
So show up somewhere.
Show
this
up.
week.
You got to show up. How are you
You'll
showing
get
up
paid.
this week? That's just the
universe
way
will pay
the
you
universe
back.
works. Protected and promoted. So many people can't be bothered. I always say, like, you must not love money.
They showed up. All of you showed up on here, so you're gonna get paid back. You didn't get paid back with our $600.
Oh, but something's gonna happen this week for
but
you.
But something amazing is
You're
going
gonna
to
find
happen for
trash
you.
bags like just laying around. I bet. Like you're just gonna.
I'm going to-
You're gonna
you know
go to your
what?
car and be like trash bags out
I
there.
am going to buy Josh Matthews trash bags.
All right.
I think I'm gonna buy
He
Josh. I'm
deserves
gonna buy
it.
you trash
Josh,
bags. You deserve trash bags.
We're also taking Josh to a phenomenal dinner on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Though. We're taking our team out.
Oh, Rebecca's giving Josh the trash bags. Josh,
What?
Look at that.
Oh, my
All right,
God.
Josh, asking you to receive. Let's go. All right. Well, everybody's a winner tonight. The universe is going to pay you all back for showing up and working on developing your mindset around money, the economy, and adapting your business. So join us next Monday. There'll be more money to give out.
$300 in 3 names. Reset it.
Reset it. And who knows? People keep
We
donating.
might, and I want to have something else like styrofoam cups.
Yeah, we'll give away something. Something fun. Not styrofoam. That's bad for the...
Something.
Yeah, we'll give away something fun. We might do that.
$300 cash and something that will blow your mind.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for joining us on Money Mondays.